In this video, I'm going to be checking out the exhaust system once again on the Losi 5T. In the previous videos, I went from the tuned pipe from Losi to the now installed aftermarket muffler. This video, I was able to get a proper stock muffler for the truck. I'm going to be doing a sound level check and then going out in the backwoods and doing a real world test of just running it around for a couple hot laps to see how much more quiet this makes the truck, along with any changes in the performance. All this coming up in today's video. Hey everyone, welcome to Adventure RC. My name is Greg and I want to start this video out with a proper shout out to Kenny over at Flytime RC. He was watching the last video I had when I was working on the exhaust systems and heard me lamenting about how I couldn't find the stock muffler for the Losi 5T. He and his son just got back into RC cars and trucks. They've got one of these and they took the stock muffler off and have no use for it. So he contacted me and asked if I would like it. And I'm like, sure. So a couple days later, the stock muffler with the screws showed up. So with the help of Kenny, today's video is made possible. Go over and check his channel out. I'm sure he'd love the views and maybe you'd like to subscribe to his channel. Before I dive into installing the stock muffler, what's the whole idea of going from performance exhaust back to the original OEM exhaust system on here? And well, the easy explanation for that is this truck I bought used off of Marketplace and it came with the Losi tuned pipe. It's got a lot of great power, awesome throttle response. It's also crazy loud and I have to wear earplugs each and every time I run the truck. Noise levels out here in my neighborhood aren't a problem. I just hate looking for and putting in earplugs every time I want to just start the truck up. So that's where I've been looking for going back to the stock exhaust system. I'm willing to give up the power and the throttle response from that tuned pipe if I can run the truck without earplugs. Well, I think I'll get started with getting the body off the truck as I continue to talk about the exhaust systems. The aftermarket mufflers that are supposed to fit this have not been fitting, and they've been off about a half a hole to a quarter hole, which this one was off a little bit, this aftermarket pipe, and it's also pretty small. So hopefully when I remove the screws, the threads aren't damaged and I can just simply bolt this one up to place. We'll do a side-by-side comparison of the factory pipe with the aftermarket one. Here's the proper Zenoa stock muffler. We're going to find that it's about the same height as the aftermarket muffler. The width is going to be about the same between the two. The big difference is how deep it is. This is going to be about twice as deep as the aftermarket. And hopefully these mounting holes, they should bolt right up to the engine, a lot better than this aftermarket one did. The aftermarket muffler also interferes with the throttle linkage by a small amount, which makes me a little bit nervous. If this was going to stay on, I'd take a grinder and just kind of grind down that corner of the muffler, but with this proper stock muffler, we're going to see that it is tapered in a little bit on that side, making proper clearance for the throttle linkage. And since I'm here, I'll get some of the pine needles out of the engine, the area that I'm in. This thing just collects a lot of trash and pine needles and leaves and debris inside the chassis. I think that's enough talking and backstory. Let's get this aftermarket muffler off and get the proper Losi Zenoa engine muffler installed. Looks like the threads are still good on the engine, and I'm just going to clean up this little engine mounting pad right here. And I can tell already that these holes match up perfectly. I was beginning to get a complex thinking there was something with the engine and the exhaust spacing on the exhaust bolts, but really it's just the aftermarket mufflers were not measured or made very well. And even though they said it was going to fit the engine, we know how aftermarket parts go. And check that out. That throttle linkage has all the clearance it needs around the muffler. In the last video, when I measured the sound on the Losi tuned pipe, it came in at an ear-piercing 102 decibels, which is crazy loud. The aftermarket muffler came in at 97 decibels, which means that the tuned pipe is like 3 times more intense. Next up, we're going to get the truck fired up and measure the sound level off of the proper stock Zenoa muffler. I got a really interesting reading off of the sound meter. It came in at 98.6 decibels, which is going to be a little bit higher than this aftermarket one that came in at 97 decibels. And I would have thought it would have been flip-flopped. I thought the larger muffler would have been quieter and the smaller one would have been a little bit louder. There's not as much area or space to quiet down the loud exhaust from the Zenoa engine. My only explanation could be the smaller muffler is actually restricting the exhaust while the stock muffler is allowing a little bit more flow and hopefully a little bit more power. Work time's over. It's time to get the body back on the truck and start playing and running some hot laps out in the backwoods. Check this out. Beautiful day in the backwoods. There's no bugs. Just rained last night, so the dust is going to be way down as I get these hot laps in. And best of all, with the stock muffler on the truck, it's a lot quieter over the tuned pipe. That was kind of weird back there out in the woods. I thought that this muffler only being about 1.5 decibels louder than this aftermarket one wouldn't make any difference, but it's actually quite a bit louder. So I would say that the stock Zenoa muffler is going to be the in-between from being a lot quieter over the Losi tune pipe, but only a little bit louder than an aftermarket muffler. Now, as far as performance, I have way more power and way more throttle response over this aftermarket can, but of course, not nearly as much as what I did with a tuned pipe. So the stock muffler system on the Losi 5T is a great in-between balance of noise versus power and throttle response output. So I think if you've got one of these trucks and you don't mind the noise, by all means, go and get a tuned pipe on it. If you're in an area or you just don't want to wear earplugs every time you run the truck, the stock muffler system on the vehicle is a nice balance between the noise and the power output. I've got a couple ideas for upcoming videos. I've been shopping on Facebook Marketplace and I found a very nice used Traxxas X-Max. It comes with 4 battery packs. The only thing that's holding me back on that is I've had a Max truck and I ran it off of 3S power and it was crazy fast. So I can't imagine what an X-Max is going to do with 8S power, especially on the track that we're just watching before. So the other option that I'm looking at is getting a clone of the Losi 5T, the 30 degree north truck from Fearless RC. It costs a little bit more than that used X-Max, but I don't know, I think I'd have a little bit more fun. Plus, I could always have one of my friends come over and we could actually run both vehicles at the same time. So kind of up in the air. Let me know what you think I should work on next by leaving a comment down below. And as usual, don't forget to show this video some love by giving it a like or subscribing to the channel. Not only does it help this channel grow, it's an awesome way to connect video content like this with other great RC enthusiasts just like yourself. And until we meet again in the next video, I'm Greg from Adventure RC1.